So this is the wall and the roof is made out of SIP, it's just structurally insulated panel. These come in like 4x6 blocks, and you just put them together using tongue and groove. And it has holes, so you can easily put electrical wiring through it very easily. What you see here is like 6 inches of styrofoam, which has a really high R value for the amount of space it requires to get, like we have R value of 27 for the house, for the walls and the roof. If you wanted to use natural insulation, for example cotton or cellulose, you have to have at least twice as much thicker. So there's always an trade-off, like what you want to use. Even though it's a petroleum product, but it's very light, very easy to install, and it has a really high R value. There's OSB, which is oriented standard board, which basically has they put different wood chips and place them together in a way so it creates a really well sealed wall. And here, this is our tomb wall, which you can see on the south side if you look through the glass there. The wall has an aerogel here and water as a thermal mass. Aerogel is the outside layer. It lets in 60% of the solar spectrum and heats the water here and keeps it warm, since water is the best thermal mass you can find among natural materials, and lets it in inside the house, but it doesn't get out because aerogel is also insulating material. So, and in the summer when you don't want to heat the house, you can put a shade in, and it will keep the water itself will keep it cool for much longer than any conductive material, for example metal. So regular
you order in the system.
We have extra wide doorways, hand bars, and we have a shower that slopes so you can take a shower directly in your wheelchair. This also is our infrastructure for the whole system for our electric and our hot water. On the hot water side, we have 60 Apricus evacuated tubes on this, just outside this wall here. They come into a single tank. We're the only house that uses a single combo max tank. So we only have 80 gallons of water stored. And as that water comes into the tank, it gradually gets hotter and hotter. We run through 2 separate copper coils of 50 feet of copper through that tank. One of them heats up the hot water, which you see the tubes here in the floor. That provides our heating for the house. As you know, radiant floor heating is the best that there is, most uniform, and it doesn't dry out the air because it's just coming up through the floor. It's not with the hot air and other systems. We also have our domestic hot water running through that tank at 115 degrees, and that's in a separate coil. And in the same tank, we have 4 electric heating elements. So for some reason, we've had several days of cloudiness, we don't have enough hot water. We are rich in electricity in this house. So we have a surplus of electricity. Matter of fact, I just had to shut one of the inverters down because we're making too much power. So, because I don't want the batteries starting the day tomorrow to be at too high a charge. So I'm actually burning off electricity right now. I'm running the air conditioners. I'm going to do a load of laundry here in a second, run the clothes dryer, and a few other things just to use up some electricity. We can store enough electricity with this design for 6 days of the house in the summer, or 5 days. If I was on the grid, I would, if it was good time, excuse me, I would be running that power back on the grid. So we have 2 inverters here. We have 4 strings of 10 panels on the roof that make about up to 9,000 watts of power. It comes in at 420 volts, goes through these top 2 inverters, and that is making electricity that we normally would be using in the house or putting back out on the grid. Because we're not grid tied, we take that, run it through the bottom inverters, and we charge the batteries with that power. And then whenever we're not using like we don't have the solar power at night. We're drawing power off the grid. I mean, off our batteries, and that's what's running the house. So we can produce up to 12,000 watts from our DC batteries. The thermal system and the thermal hot water and storage can be add about 80,000 to the cost of a house. And the house would be between 150 and 200,000. So altogether, you end up with a $300,000, 800 square foot house, which is a little pricey, but you'll never have a utility bill again. We won't have any imported oil. We won't have to start any more wars. You know, the next war of the plan, when you look at where we get most of our oil, is where? What's Canada. So wouldn't it have been a lot easier to just invade Canada? Or where do we? What's the second largest country to get oil from? Mexico. So why didn't we invade Canada or Mexico? Anyway, okay.
You need that reacts to nitrogen. So iron.
Because I just got that other thing in the mail.
You set it right over that, and then you'll start shooting. There's nothing around here.
But I don't think that most people cut off 30% of their control.
The question
Sure, okay.
And so 10 is the highest. Thinking of having slow moving on
Yeah, no, we got getting a lot of ingress. And the egress. In Arizona, most people still have not heard of Arizona. How?